Trying to. Over at Tannery Lane, Tannery Village, 11th Street. Gotta refer something to the commission.
Yo, how are you?
This is 11th Street. Let's just get, everything on 11th Street. Yeah, actually, I kind of did. If you want to read it.
We're gonna have a good day.
Somebody developing that property.
That's pretty special for you, right? Start off with a good morning today. Give it all up.
Yeah, I could tell. Get it all up quick. No, I did not today. He called me and said he sent me his card and said he was going to overload the amount of cards, support calls, and he said he won't be here tonight, but he would be here to come
He's feeling good.
He wanted to thank everybody for all the cards.
We don't usually put what's on there.
Okay.
That's why it's an executive session. Yeah, it shouldn't be too long. Nobody yet. Yeah. You get all the dirties tonight. Where do I sign? Yeah, you got it. It'll be anywhere from 20 minutes to 40 minutes. Right? And we're going to actually build, when we go to executive session, we're going to talk first before we... Okay. All right. We usually do the executive session in the other room we were in the other day. They're excited. They're expecting this to be bad tonight. They know it's guys.
That means a short meeting, right?
I understand he's home. He's feeling very good. John might talk to him pretty much every day. Hiring? Appendix out. Get out of here. Promotion and hiring to the police. There you go. Oh, yeah. They couldn't come to help. Can't spend any money.
All that's for like this. Pretty big. And it has down through it, goes into software and things like that. And then it can sit that in right here and get a house. They call pass there. We used to just pay.
Oh, I can't remember.
Digital and shit. And every go by there.
You sure?
They may very well. I don't know. That's not what it's for. Shouldn't be.
That's what I hear. What is time water?
Well, we always wonder why not do. We never did all that.
You need all.
I was just talking to Dave about it. I checked it out, going down the records and came.
We're on Thursday.
Thursday at 3:30.
It's a good show. I got busted by the Coast Guard last night.
Yeah.
And I got boarded by the Coast Guard out on the lake.
Out on the lake.
No, Lake Ontario. I was like 2 nautical miles northeast of that lighthouse. Went water skiing for about an hour. Then we parked, just floated for a while, eating sandwiches, drinking beer. Not a boat in sight. Suddenly, here comes this little red boat. Guy looking through the binoculars. I'm like, oh, gee, I wonder what this is all
I'm a
about.
little concerned about them getting a building.
We started shoving beer cans into the cuddy real quick before he got there. He said that was
We can go ahead and say that, but just I want to make sure that if we have a lease with them, it's based on square footage or something, you can get more money or some quick pro quo.
Please rise for the pledge of flag.
I got one.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And he says, how many life jackets do you have? There's 6 people on the boat. That's not good. And the blower didn't work, and I didn't have my wrist straight. I thought you had to back up there.
Clerk, call the roll.
Mayor Stafford.
Here.
Alderman Lincoln. Here. Alderman Sahaski. Alderman Weston. Alderman Sherman. Here. Alderman Thompson. Here. Alderman Woodward.
Here.
Attorney Hawthorne.
Here.
All present except for Alderman Sahaski and Alderman Weston.
Thank you. First item.
Resolved that the minutes of the council meeting of June 13th, 2000 are hereby approved as per attached.
Motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
Resolved that the city clerk's report of May 2000 in the amount of $3,850.01 is hereby received, approved, and placed on file.
Motion?
I'll move it.
Second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
Whereas the police department received a donation in the amount of $20 to be used specifically for the K-9 unit. Now therefore be it resolved that the city chamberlain increase the budget under gifts and donations by $20 for the fiscal year 2000. Be it further resolved that the police department budget account A3120.4034 be increased by $20 as requested.
I'll offer that.
Second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
Resolved that the city clerk is hereby authorized and directed to receive sealed bids in his office on or before July 25th up to 2 p.m. and to be publicly opened and read aloud July 25th in the Common Council chambers for a tourism center at Bullhead Point in accordance with specifications prepared by Thomas Arctander, architect.
Motion.
I'll move it.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
Whereas the meeting of the council held on May 2nd, the council referred a right-of-way proposal submitted by Daniel and Denise Abel for their property located at 501 East Broadway to the Fulton Planning Commission. Whereas at the meeting of the Planning Commission held on June 12th, the Planning Commission recommended to approve the right-of-way proposal of Daniel and Denise Abel. Whereas the Common Council has received the recommendation of the Planning Commission regarding this right-of-way issue. Now therefore be it resolved that the city clerk advertise for a public hearing to be held on July 11th, 2000 at 7 p.m. in the Common Council chambers of the municipal building relative to the right-of-way issue submitted by Daniel and Denise Abel.
Can I add something to that? I talked to the attorney about this earlier. Part of the law also says that the neighbors have to be notified in writing by the property owner, and that's going to apply for the next 3 resolutions.
Yes.
I'm
going to make sure that all 3 of the property owners get copies of the resolution with that section highlighted.
Okay. Is that good enough for you?
Yeah, as long as they are made aware that they have that requirement, so that when we come back to the public hearing, there's no glitch in the procedural steps there.
Okay. I'll move it.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
This meeting held the Common Council on May 2nd. The Common Council referred to right-of-way proposal submitted by Fuad Hassan for his property located at 520 Utica Street to the Fulton Planning Commission. Whereas the meeting of the Planning Commission held on May 8th, the Planning Commission recommended to approve the right-of-way proposal of Mr. Hassan. Whereas the Common Council has received the recommendation of the Planning Commission regarding the right-of-way issue, now therefore be resolved, the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise for a public hearing to be held on July 11th, 7 p.m. in the council chambers, relative to the right-of-way issue submitted by Mr. Fuad Hassan.
Motion?
I'd like to talk about this one too. Obviously, Mr. Hassan is not here. I would ask that this be pulled. The tenant at that property, Mr. Alex Camacho, if you read the newspaper here about a week ago, I made some copies. This guy was arrested on federal drug charges last week. He seized 23.5 pounds of pot. This is his second charge in 7 months. He was also arrested on state and federal drug and weapons charges in October. It's a lovely neighbor of mine. Chief Spawn has started nuisance abatement proceedings for this property. He's digging into it. And since this is the tenant that wants to make changes, I think we better not rush to change that property if he's not going to be around for the next, say, 3 to 5, maybe earlier with good behavior. So, can we pull this?
I defer to our city attorney.
Well, I guess my question would be, where did this request come from? It came from the property owner, I assume, not the tenant, right?
It's my understanding the tenant is the nephew of the property owner.
Who, if anybody, came to the planning board meeting?
Did anybody from 520 Utica Street come?
The owner of the property.
Yeah, did the owner?
The owner of the property was no one there from that.
Okay.
Neither was the owner of the property there.
Was anybody there?
Understanding that it was the property owner that made the request.
Yeah, I guess that's where I'm asking. Did that request come through you?
No.
How did it
The
get?
guy lives next door to me and I didn't know anything about it.
I think
This
it's...
is the house with like the Great Wall of China around it and
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
It doesn't say in here when we have to do this.
No, it doesn't. I guess my thinking is that if the request has come through and it's been through planning, the next step is to set a public hearing. I guess the only thing I can tell you is
there a-
when he moves it, then it doesn't get set.
Is there a rush to do the public hearing, I
The
guess?
law doesn't say when, but I think the reasons you gave may not really be reasons that you could say, let's not do anything. I think if nobody moves it, then there's no public hearing set.
Would it be better if we advertised for the public hearing and then found out exactly what, whose idea this was and why?
I think it'd be a good.
And then if we know more and
Yeah.
then we can vote on it then?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think somebody needs to reach out to the property owner and say,
I don't even know how to get a hold of
want
the guy.
this, come here and tell us why.
I don't even know how to get a hold of the guy. I know that the tenant said that he worked for a construction company that had it signed in the front yard. And he said that he owned a construction company, and when we had code problems with him, we called that number and they never heard of him, so.
Well, I think that to be on the safe side, you should set the hearing because the reasons you gave aren't necessarily the reasons not to at least have a hearing.
Okay.
And if the procedure's already been started and it's been through planning, then I think you pretty much, unless nobody moves it, I think you pretty much have to do it. Unless, I don't think you can not do it for the reasons that concern you.
Okay. I'll move it.
Do we have a second? Second on the motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
These are my neighbors.
Whereas the meeting of the council held on May 2nd, the council referred to right-of-way proposal submitted by Mike Cyber for his property located at 702 Emery Street to the Planning Commission. Whereas at the meeting of the Planning Commission held on June 12th, the Planning Commission tabled the right-of-way issue submitted by Mr. Seibert. Council has now received the recommendation of the Planning Commission regarding the right-of-way issue. And I defer to Alderman Thompson.
This one we've already advertised for.
We have already advertised for the same date?
Yes, for the same date, July 11th, pending receipt of a recommendation, because their next meeting is going to be July 10th, right?
So there's
So right
really,
now, there's really nothing to do.
there's no action
Just to
to
let
take
everybody
on
know what's
this.
going on.
Because you already have a hearing set.
right, because the hearing's been set. No action required. Next item.
The 4th is a Tuesday, so the 11th is a Tuesday. So the 10th is a Monday.
Resolved that Steve Lund of the Code Enforcement Department be authorized to issue a building permit to Time Warner to propose 16 by 18 addition on their existing Time Warner building on Water Tower Hill. Said building permit subject to final approval of the city attorney.
Hear a motion?
What's this for?
This
Can
is,
we back up a minute? But, we want to talk about this a little bit? Like, exactly what do they want to do? I don't want to...
they want to expand their building with these 16 by 18 foot additions that contain
just the
rest of their
building?
equipment. Just the building. Yes.
This isn't going to make kids at Fairgrave School glow in the dark or pack the room here over
No, it's just the
something
building.
that we're not going to make a vote here where we're going to have to reverse it in 60 days.
No, but they actually, you should be aware of my concern. This is why the resolution's been changed to make it subject to my approval, and that is the fact that we're not sure of our arrangement with them now, whether it's a lease or whatever, and if it's a lease based on square footage, should we perhaps be getting more money now that a new building's being put there? Because as you can see from the memo, this is actually our property. That the current building is in.
Based on square footage.
Is it?
I don't know if it's based on square footage, but I'm pretty sure it's a lease.
We're the tenant, they're gonna build another building there.
Right.
That should be addressed before they go ahead and do it.
That's why he put the disclaimer in there about the review by the city attorney here.
And I think as part of that, I'll certainly look into the intended use of the building, because if it's gonna be to house massive
Would you please?
electronics, then we got a problem, right?
Yes. Trusting you, I will move that.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
Whereas the city clerk was authorized and directed to advertise to receive sealed bids for tree and stump removal in his office on or before June 26 up to 4 p.m. and to publicly open them at 4:15 p.m. in these council chambers. Whereas the bids were opened publicly and read aloud as follows. Nelson Tree Service, tree 0 to 12 inch, 12 inches, $195 per tree, 13 to 24 inches, $375 per tree, 25 to 36 inches, $625 per tree, 37 inches and above, $735 per tree. Stumps would be $125 per stump. Second bid was Quality Tree Service, trees 0 to 12 inches, $169, 13 to 24 inches, $409, 25 to 36 inches, $589 per tree, 36 inches and above, $729 per tree. Stumps would be at $119 per stump. Whereas the bids were referred to Mr. Ron Edict of the Fulton Engineering Department for his review, and whereas by letter dated June 27th, Mr. Edict has recommended the low bid of Quality Tree Service for tree and stump removal for their bid as stated above. Now therefore be it resolved that the low bid of Quality Tree Service in the amount as stated above for tree and stump removal for the city of Fulton is hereby awarded to Quality Tree Service.
Got a question. Area Land and Tree Company didn't take a proposal or a bid?
No.
Now, are they back in town right now doing, finishing up the stump work from last year's tree list? It's completed? Okay.
I'll offer that.
Okay. We have a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
Resolved that a zone change request submitted by Tannery Management Development Company for a change of zone from R2 residential to R3 residential for their property located on the east side of West 11th Street be referred to the Planning Commission for their recommendation.
What do we want to do, John?
John, do you want to address that?
Yes, I was approached today by Ken Patrick, who is in the Tannery Management Development Group, and what he would like the city to do is to rezone that from an R2 to an R3. They have had some interest in the property, although we got to make sure that we let certain things in there and not allow other things because of the residential R1A situation, which is right next door. But he's requesting a zone change for that property there on West 11th Street.
And you have the map on that?
Right over there.
Hey, Arch, do you know in R3 what's allowed for residential? They can have multiples of 3, 4, or what? How's that? What can they have? Two family? Two family or?
No, I don't think you need to have two family. At this point, I'm not certain. Round it up, looking at the code.
Okay. Well, R3, we used to be able to have the multiples, you know what I'm saying, like 3 and 4, like that. Okay.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll move it.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose.
Who's opposed?
I do.
Dave, do we need one more?
No. We're not spending money, we're just referring to the majority of those present.
Okay.
Okay, motion is carried.
That's what you were looking at him for, wasn't it?
Yes. I was counting too.
When the crook come up here as a Lysol and
At large.
at large, yeah.
Is there anyone in the audience that has any business to bring before the council?
We're going to do the sewer thing? No? Okay.
Hearing none. Is there any, do any of the aldermen have any business to bring before the council?
Nothing tonight.
I do. 356 South 4th Street. That is the property next to Connie Tompkins and Andrew Malambry. I believe we're probably into the 4th year of not paying taxes, and I was wondering if we can start moving on that.
I met with Mr. Voda yesterday at length, and we have set a timetable. We're going to shortly send notices and publish in the paper notice to people that are in default for 95, 96, and 97 residential, and up through 99 on commercial. And then the timetable will be any that don't pay. We'll have the foreclosure filed in October, and then by law we have to wait 3 months. In January, we will receive title to all those properties and are redeemed.
Don't we have some that are 4 years behind right now?
Yeah, some from
The
95.
only reason I bring it
But we'll
up
do
now
them too.
Yeah, all of them.
is that neighbors have been concerned that the property is really declining now, and would like to see something done, either get somebody in there that's interested in the property, get it sold off, whatever, and either tear it down or fix it.
We received, he was sentenced here by the judge on code violations last year, several
Yeah.
$1,000. I don't know if he's paid it. And I think we had discussions with him at that time about signing the property over to the city, but there are liens on it. I think there's a mortgage on it. You know, obviously, the city didn't want to take that. So if we go ahead and foreclose on the taxes, they'll cut off the mortgage.
Thank you.
That's all I've got.
Anything?
I'd just like to say that I'm pleased that 4 days after I asked the police to be around more often, we had federal agents raid my neighbor. That was a good day. I do have a question though. The dog warden works during the day. If we call the police at night to see if they can, shut a dog up, will they?
If you call in a complaint, yes. They will answer complaints.
Because I guess there's a dog on Rochester Street that sounds like it's been in agony for a couple of weeks. I mean, it's crying. It's not barking. It is just crying. And I don't know who to call at night.
Yeah, call the police department.
Okay.
I'd call my alderman.
Well,
Call your,
he lives pretty darn close to his alderman. I want to go over there and feed the poor thing. I don't dare do it, though.
Ron, do you have anything?
I just wanted to ask David, on that property in the 6th Ward that we were looking for Mr. Luzo, that was interested in buying it, did we get the abstract done on that yet? Remember we were going to do an abstract, Mike, on that?
I'm waiting for the deed. Remember I talked to each other?
You know what I'm talking about, Mike? That one on the hill? Okay.
We're trying to locate a deed, Ron, and then we can...
Okay, because he asked me is all. He calls me on all the time. Okay.
Because we want to make sure we have good title before we...
Right, that's what I was concerned about.
Right. That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
I did have one more question.
Yes.
On the seal right
Yes.
street closing,
Yes.
do we have any idea when that's going to happen?
We just received a letter from Sealright today. They are requesting the street to be closed the 10th of July so they can begin construction. I just forwarded a copy of that on, or gave the information to the chief of police today, as a matter of fact.
And this time they're sincere, right?
They're going to start construction. That's just what the letter said.
Okay.
John, how are we looking at as far as funds to reroute and when?
We've got some, we're still waiting for those, right?
We have some funds that came in for the earmark for the infrastructure removal or relocation. And now that we're not going to have to do that, we have to contact that office to see if we can use those funds
Towards
for
the
that. It's not enough to do the whole job, but it's a start. So that's where we are on that right now.
Is it something that we can start, this year, or is it something that's going to be put off until?
We're probably going to have to budget for it. We're going to have to find some money someplace. We don't have enough to get the job done. I think, what did the estimate come in for that?
I think it was like $800,000.
1,000, and we're talking, we've received 90.
Carol was some other.
Well, I don't know, my opinion is that it is an infrastructure situation, and if we're going to bond for things, that's one of the things we should consider to bond for, because it is definitely going to help alleviate a lot of traffic in the city to consider that. I'm just saying for the future, not right now, but we should seriously consider that. Leave that as an option.
It is definitely something we're going to have to look at, no doubt about it. Okay, anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss some pending litigation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.